This is Wide Boyz, the guy on YouTube that learns things as fast as possible. In the last year, he's been learning to rock climb, progressing quickly from no experience to now leading bolted routes outdoors. As a professional climber who specialises in crack climbing and bigger walls, could I help this beginner climber get from this to climbing this wall in Norway in the space of 5 days? Currently, Mike knows nothing about the basics of how to get up and down here safely. He's never crack climbed, never placed traditional climbing gear, never abseiled, and never climbed above 25 metres. All these skills usually take months of learning to feel confident enough to execute on this objective. To learn all of this in 5 days was going to be the toughest thing he'd ever done. I got Mike started on a crucial style of climbing he would need to master to be successful: crack climbing. A fundamental skill that is needed when climbing walls this big.
So is this good crack climbing hands? Slender.
You want them thin in that direction. Yeah, that's good.
Look at this! Look, how are we the same species?
It's common for climbs to follow natural crack features in the rock, and these cracks provide hand and footholds for the climber. The techniques used are very different to normal styles of climbing and anything he's done before, so it's really important that Mike understands it. We start in the climbing gym on our artificial cracks. I show him exactly what to do and also what to avoid. Usually I go for an over-exaggerated answer to ensure folk don't resort to this practice.
You'd have to
127 hours?
Yeah, 127 hours, yeah. You'd have to get the oil out, like the grease,
Really?
the butter, yeah. I'd lube you up.
I've taught thousands of people how to crack climb over the past 10 years, and thankfully his progress was how I expected. Crack climbing can feel like a very strange form of climbing initially, but once the technique clicks, it can transform from impossible to easy in a matter of seconds.
The top one?
Yeah, the top one. Just lunge from the...
Lunge.
Yeah, it's just really weird. It's really, really strange. You just get lactic acid in my hands, like, immediately. And then when you put your weight on it, you're like, okay, well, I can hold... I'm surprised that it can hold my weight.
9 minutes into crack climbing. We're nearly at the top of problem 1, so that's good. Go left hand.
Yeah.
Right hand, sorry, yes.
Mike experiences foot jamming for the first time. Using your feet when crack climbing is the key to success. At first it can feel odd pushing your toes into cracks and twisting them in all sorts of strange ways. Remember, Mike only put on a pair of climbing shoes for the first time less than a year ago.
Body nice and close.
That's one hand off.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I wasn't taking much weight then.
Jesus Christ! Feet of steel! See, when I look down at my foot in that position, it just looks like
a bit weird.
It looks like I've broken it. Yeah. It's just all mangled and shoved in there.
Pete, how do you feel when you look down at your foot when you see it in the crack?
It looks normal, because I'm so used to it. I've been doing it so long. Okay, so we've gone through hand cracks, and now we're going to look at fist and thin hands. These are like the staples that we always do with any crack schools and any beginners. It's hands, thin hands, and fist.
Mike got on really well with the fist cracks, but now having spent half a day crack climbing and only 3.5 days until the beginning of the big objective, we needed to move on quickly. I was starting to wonder if I'd bitten off a little bit more than I could chew with this one.
Strange contraption. It's just interesting to think that this can hold your weight, right? Like if I'd manufactured this myself, I would not trust it.
We're going to look at gear placing, because that's a crucial part of trad climbing.
Yeah, this is the bit I'm worried about.
Keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of friends. They're going to be your friend. As a trad climbing starting out, I'd say these are kind of your friendly pieces. They're the easiest ones to place. There's not that much complicated about it. Each different colour is a different size.
Can you just look at that and go, that's a green?
Yeah, that one's probably going to be like a grey, about there.
Yeah.
I would have thought. To seat it, I always generally kind of give it a little bit of a pull.
Yep.
And then give it
a
a couple of little tugs.
Yep.
When you're placing it, you want to make sure that the stem is going in the direction of the fall. Yeah, you don't want to be pointing down in the crack, because then if you fall off, it's going to rotate, and sometimes these can go into funny positions.
If this was that right at the top, and it was as it was,
Yeah.
and that was your only piece of gear,
Yes.
would you, and I told you to fall on it, would you do it?
Yeah, this one's a good one. Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
You'd fall on that?
Yes.
After giving Mike an explanation on how friends work, I got him trying out some of his own placements so he could experiment with what was good and what was bad.
Can I give that a wee tug then?
Yeah, give it a little tug.
Can I hang on the draw?
And give it a go, yeah.
You stop my head splatting off that rock.
Pete can be there as spotter.
This feels crazy.
Pete's well known for his spotting.
Oh, that's an amazing bit of kit. That's crazy, you can just hang off that wee thing.
The next step was for Mike to second the climb, which means climbing after me and taking the gear out of the rock as he goes. This would give him an idea of how and where I've placed the gear.
I can't decide if it's going to put me in like a meditative trance where I'm just focused on the cam, or if it's going to be so complicated I'm going to freak out.
We'll also be using double ropes, as this is essential to use when climbing the big objective in Norway.
So, Mike, have you ever belayed with 2 ropes before?
No. And then just
Yeah,
stretch.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I don't like this. I don't like it stop.
You want to like find really comfortable positions.
Yeah.
That you
I
feel.
could tell Mike was a little bit nervous about the whole thing, and rightly so, as there were so many new things to constantly learn. To be honest, when belaying with double ropes made him feel uncomfortable, it reminded me just how little he knew, and how mind-blowing the experience in 3 days' time might just be for him.
How are you feeling, Mike?
Yeah, I'm just a bit apprehensive belaying. I'm trying to watch what he's doing, but also bear in mind that I'm a belayer, so it's a little bit much for me to concentrate on in one sitting. I don't think he would care if I didn't even have a rope in.
Mike is jamming at the start. He's jamming in the wild for the first time. Yeah, so he's past the crooks, which is good. So I'm pleased about that. These next few days is just like me gauging his standard as well. Because obviously we've never climbed together.
Yeah, I forgot about the gear every time. Climbed right past it. Getting into it now, but the start was hard.
When we are going to go and do something bigger, I really need to have a good understanding of what he's capable of, what he isn't capable of, and how much I can push him. We really have to start right at the beginning and build it up slowly, but also quickly. Oh, it's good. I'm psyched that you actually used the jams.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it without them.
No.
Yeah.
There we go. Folks, this is what I'm always telling people. Like, jamming is important for your trad climbing.
Yeah, man.
Another crucial part to climbing the big objective is getting down. To do this, we're using something called abseiling.
How much abseiling have you done?
I don't even really understand fully what abseiling is. I'm a little bit nervous about it, to be honest.
Mike didn't know yet, but the abseils from the wall in Norway would be extremely exposed, and he'd need to be able to look after his own safety on this part of the wall, as I'd be abseiling first.
If you've noticed that Pete didn't do that by the book, and you know someone's up, please feel free to keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Mike doesn't want to know. I'm not a guide. I'm a climber.
Who's doing a bit of guiding. This seems really strange.
Yeah. Okay, so your weight's on that.
Yep.
So, which means you can then come off this.
Come off this, and you're happy with this, yeah?
I'm happy with that.
Cool.
It's off. It's going. I think we need to go through these things a few times. Get him feeling like confident on each aspect.
At the end of day one, I really wanted to test where Mike's true level was, as the plan was to get him on his first trad climbing lead tomorrow, so I stepped up the difficulty level by 2 grades.
I think this might be too much. What's your prediction from what I'll be able to do?
I'm going for you're going to get up it. I think it'll be tough.
That's it, mate. Come on.
Nice.
Fuck.
How was that?
That was intense. The grip's there, it's just a sloper. Oh, I'm buzzed at that.
Yeah. Good work.
That was cool. That was hard.
That was a good level.
Yeah.
That was a good level. I could see you trying down there.
It had been a promising start, and I was really getting a feel for Mike's current ability, but there was still a long way to go and only 3 days left. Today we'd be stepping it up a notch and getting Mike on his first ever trad lead. A massive undertaking considering he'd only learnt about trad climbing yesterday. Day 2 of Mike's trad climbing experience, we're going to get him leading. We're going to warm him into it though, so he'll top rope, practice placing the gear, and then we'll get him on the sharp end.
Mike, how are you feeling about today?
I actually feel a lot better than like the drive down here before we had seen the cams and seen how you place them and stuff. Like as I was taking them out yesterday, I was like, yeah, okay, that I would do that. So it was in line with what I thought a good cam placement was. As to how I'm going to actually feel really without going above the last cam and looking for a place, I don't know. I might freak out. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be, we're going to see what happens. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I feel calm now, but yeah, I might bottle it.
Where it's not as hot, not as slippy, hands aren't sweating as much.
Is that just because it's cooler?
Yeah, because it's cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's giving me a walk in the park. Hopefully.
I was starting to understand that this whole objective wasn't just a challenge for Mike, but also a massive challenge for myself. Getting a beginner like Mike up to the standard needed to climb the route in Norway in just 5 days. Could I actually do it?
That's solid.
To make sure Mike was prepared for leading, I let him follow me up a climb first, taking out all the gear I expected him to place. Next, I got him to top rope the climb again, replacing all the gear that I had put in. Then I abseiled back down the climb to check his gear placements, giving him feedback on each one.
What percentage would you give that gear placing?
I'd say 95, yeah, it was really good. And even found a bit in the middle, one in the middle which I hadn't found, so it's a good one. I mean, I don't think you can ever give 100%. I'd never give 100% to myself or anybody. Because how can you make it the best? You can never, I just don't think you can. There's always improvements to make, isn't there?
How are you feeling, mate?
Kind of shit, but I'll feel better once I get the first one in. Yeah, I'm feeling it now.
Put your foot under the rope, toe under the rope, yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, toe under. Yeah, always under.
Pete will be proud of that hand jam, right?
Yes, Mike. Yes, I am.
to kick. That was scary. Oh.
Well, that was absolutely epic. We don't have enough rope for me to rappel back down, so I have to walk off. But I'm actually savouring that, just enjoying a moment by myself, because that was tense, but fantastic. I'm so proud of myself for nailing that.
I was also proud of Mike for getting the job done and keeping a cool head when it came down to it. However, in 2 days' time, we'd be setting off on our main objective, which was over 10 times bigger than the height of these current climbs. Right, Mike, we've just arrived in Norway. How are we feeling?
For me, just like climbing something that big would be that would be an amazing achievement for me, so I'm sort of dipping my toes into the deep end here.
We're dipping in. We're dipping into the multi-pitch world.
How long is a pitch? What is a pitch?
It was that question that gave me a sharp reminder of just how much of a beginner Mike still was.
I mean, if I was here on my own, and I walked up to here, I would just close that guidebook and head back to the car. Yeah. Because that looks nuts.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, we went up that crack. Yeah, belay on the...
Oh, so that's what that means, belay.
Yes,
right,
that's
cool.
what that means, belay. No, we're stepping it up a notch.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
We always step it up a notch on this channel. Bring people on, we step it up a notch. That's what we like. That's what the audience want to see.
The approach is hard. You just don't give a shit about walking through the bushes, man. Just like...
The idea today was to climb this 3-pitch climb. And to those of you like Mike still wondering what a pitch is, it's a word we use to describe a section of climbing. On a wall like this, our rope is not long enough to reach from the bottom to top, so we split the climb into 3 rope lengths, and these are defined as pitches. But first things first, can you remember how to belay with 2 ropes, Mike?
I might be a little bit slow at paying out slack, but
That's fine, it's
yeah,
all good, no stress.
The important bit is you're not going to die. You're not going to kill her. National treasure.
My aim was to get Mike to experience being at height and also teach him how to be safe when on the wall and at belays.
It's just really, really, really big. Like way bigger than anything I've done. And this is pitch 1 of potentially 3.
How are you feeling about the general pace of the day?
The pace of the day has been extremely quick. Like I'm just off the goddamn plane. And like in a flash we're here. And Pete's up there.
So we are at the top of pitch number 1. It's gonna be really interesting to see how he deals with, I don't know, just like being on this little ledge, also just belaying on this little ledge for me to do the next pitch. And then also having the anticipation of the next pitch. We're going up here and then over onto this crack here. Action is being filmed. Filming the filming. Everybody always asks, like, how did the cameraman get up there? And I'll answer that for you now. When I went up the pitch first, I took an extra rope, the white one, for the cameraman, fixed it to the belay, and he uses rope ascending techniques to climb the rope. When you know how, it's quite simple.
That was a bit tentative, like.
Was it?
But I don't think I hung on the rope. I think it was alright.
How's the height exposure?
The only reason it's a concern, I'm being honest with you, is because everyone else is like, whoa, you might lose your head when you get up there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going with this guy Pete Whitaker. So far so good. I don't feel like there's any problem. So we'll see how we get on. But I think I'm going to be alright.
After Mike found the first pitch quite easy, it's going to be interesting to see how he finds the next pitch. That's going to give me some idea of what we're going to do for the next route, the next days. Mike actually doesn't know like the wall that we're going to do. It's going to be a bit of a surprise.
I've definitely climbed harder climbs. I just kind of lost my nerve a bit, which is what I thought would happen.
Because of the height, or?
It's not the height really. It's just the wind and like I'm last up and I felt totally isolated.
The wind.
Yeah, the wind fucked with me. Yeah. So
it is a thing.
Yeah, you turn like it was totally windless, and then I went round the wee corner onto the crack, and it was like, and it was just slight, but I was like, I'm hanging off in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
The wind always makes it feel more atmospheric,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, definitely, yeah. Jesus Christ, that was hard. Like even the easier section after the crack, the flat crack, it eased up a bit. I was like, still couldn't climb properly.
Abseil point over there.
Yeah, with bolted.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
abseils, so we just have to do 2 abseils.
Cool.
And just do it like at your own pace.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't need to break any speed records.
I thought, if I do, it's by accident.
Yeah, if we do, then it's not good. Do you have any questions?
No.
Tomorrow was going to be another challenging day.
Don't really like this.
There was no slowing down. My plan was to get Mike leading on a multi-pitch climb. I knew this would be pushing him incredibly hard.
This feels completely fucking mental.
Right, we're back day 2 in Norway, and we're going to get Mike levelling it up to leading multi-pitch trad.
I looked at the footage yesterday. You can see me Elvis legging big time, so I'm trying to be a bit more like calm and controlled today. I'm feeling better today. Day 4 of Wide Boyz is feeling confident.
It's a big step up. We've only done 4 days climbing together, and Mike's only done 1 trad lead. So we're kind of levelling it up a notch here. Parallel basically. It gets a bit tighter, especially there. Even though I'd run through the principles yesterday on our first multi-pitch together, as Mike would be climbing first, I gave him a crash course in how to build a belay, make himself safe, and bring me up on second. It's like I'm a guide or something, but I have no qualifications in this. Absolutely none. And on that note, Mike set off on his second ever trad lead. Yeah, put it right at the bottom of the slot.
Yeah.
Yep, you go in properly?
Yep. As soon as I got the first piece of gear in, I was like, right, I'm not gonna hit the ground, probably. Like in there?
Yeah.
Okay. This will be a wee one.
That small yellow or the little green? Nice, mate.
Sorry?
Nice one.
Okay.
Very good.
Fucking hell, I'm not far off the ground. Felt like I've been climbing for hours.
Mike got off to a little bit of a nervous start. What we have to remember is that up to this point, Mike has only led a handful of bolted routes and done 1 trad lead.
I'm gonna be fine. I mean, there's lots of like areas to stand. I think I've placed way more than necessary, but I don't think they're all very, very good. So we'll see what happens. The most dangerous thing is actually falling onto the ledge. I'm pretty focused on the gear. Like, I'd like to go a bit further up between gear placements, but I'm like conscious that to not do that too much. I've got such a crazy amount of rope drag. That's actually pulling me off. That rope drag is nuts. Ugh. I don't condone that cam placement, for the record. It's hard to remove. That's not touching. Like, it's just a mess. Alright, Pete, that's me safe.
Really good.
I think what we should do here is admire Mike's impeccable rope management. Green rope perfectly on the left, orange rope on the right. They haven't crossed a single time, like a pro. It was a great lead by Mike, and I was really pleased he'd managed to keep a cool head when it mattered. To give Mike the true multi-pitch team experience, we would now swing leads, meaning I would follow the pitch he just did and then carry on leading the next pitch of climbing. Mike would then do the same thing and lead the final pitch to the summit. Okay Mike, we're cooking. The confidence is high and the nerves have settled a bit.
Yeah,
It's good, but we need to stay focused.
definitely.
Focused for the final lead.
Yeah. I just ripped straight out. That's better. Oh, shit.
always a little bit unnerving when you put a piece in, you think it's good, and then you tug on it and then it just rips straight out, which I think is what you may have just done. Interesting thing is, yesterday he said it was windy and that was what made him feel exposed and a little bit scared, and now today we've got some serious rain gusts coming in and he's on the last pitch and he's on lead.
Right, fucking hell. Okay. I need to place gear. It's tiny. Green.
He seems to have settled into the height and exposure a little bit more though, so I think he's doing flipping brilliant. But it's always interesting for me to watch the footage back afterwards, because when you're belaying and then you see somebody climbing, when they're 20, 30, 40 metres out in front of you, you can never actually get a gauge of what they're experiencing.
Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Right, what else is there? Yeah, we'll get an absolute monster in there.
Mike at the moment seems to be totally smashing it. Third ever trad lead. He's on the final pitch, swung leads all the way. Things are happening, serious progress I would say. Good progress.
Okay. Right, come on. Let's get that composure back. Got some serious rope drag on now.
Mike had come a long way in the last 4 days of climbing with me. However, the final objective, the one he has yet to see, makes all the things we've done so far look small. Our next climbing day was going to be a true test and would push Mike physically and emotionally to the absolute limit.
I don't think I can do that. I genuinely don't think I can do it. I can't fucking do it! I can't actually climb.
Come on.
That was fucking crazy.